understand how to support those learners. The spaces that are sought when learners get stuck, where growth is not happening, when they've been there for long enough to say, we need to do something to help. Stuckness can come in different forms. Sometimes it will present to us as anger, restless, disruptions. Disruption that is concerning enough because it's disrupting spaces around them and within them. Sometimes stuckness also looks like withdrawn, shrunk, not opening the door to let others in. Another time, stuckness can also look like indifference, not knowing what this fuss is all about. Why are you so concerned? I'm fine, leave me alone. I also come from spaces where children, youth thrive. They feel proud, they feel enthusiastic. They also look back with us often to say, oh my God, I've come a long way. Whenever we look back, we know this is not where we began. We began with spaces where this is boring. Why are you making me do this? I don't like you, and worse, I hate you. You are being mean to me. They slouch in their chairs, they roll down from the desks, and this is where we usually began. Louder that behavior is communicating is that there has been a long history of struggle. More persistent that resistance is, we no longer this person has been in space of struggle in not knowing what is in their power to do to get out of that situation. They've not realized that they can seek help. More importantly, they've not known whom to turn to. Who is there who can mobilize their stuckness, their state of frozen, and actually enable them to move forward. This is the space where we take the role of a teacher very, very seriously. And I do not mean teacher in a conventional only a school teacher role. I mean anybody who takes their impact of helping another human being thrive seriously and deliberately. Any role of facilitation. Facilitation could come from a therapist, it can come from a teacher, it can come from a parent, it can come from a friend, a neighbor, an aunt, anybody who makes it their mission that I am going to make a difference for another human being. Now, when I say that teachers are not just happening, teachers are made, teachers can be trained. I also know this very strongly, that when we talk of a teacher, a good teacher knows when to nudge, how to nudge, how persistent or momentary that nudge needs to be. A teacher also knows that I need to be here for the learner. Every nudge that a teacher does is also creating a mutual space of trust. Learner always knows from day one that this is coming from a special space. There's something different about this person. There is love, there is care. More importantly, there is safety, both physical and emotional. What is also very different in that space is there is collaboration. There is collaboration between the teacher and the learner. We need to remember that no matter what beautiful a lesson a teacher makes, what teaching learning materials they've created, if the learner decides, I'll not learn, a teacher cannot make a difference. Agency of a learner to commit to this learning space, to accept the teacher as the guiding force they will cooperate with, is where the true collaboration and learning unfolds. I do not really endorse the viewpoint when people say teachers just happen, teachers are just born. I know from the science of learning there are rules, there are principles that can be used very methodically to create environments where learners thrive, where any learner in all shapes, sizes, ages can thrive. I also do not endorse that Teachers are these flowing streams of knowledge, and it is up to the learners to take whatever they can. It is up to the learner's ability or destiny to take whatever they can from a teacher's stream. I very strongly feel, and I have seen this happen year after year, month after month in the settings that I represent, that teachers can very deliberately, consciously create environments where learners find it meaningful to show up. They show up with motivation. They find it their reason to be there and not to miss that opportunity that a teacher was presenting to them. So what do we do? What are the ingredients of that environment where learning would happen, it would thrive, where learners will keep showing up again and again, where no matter what hard lesson showed up for them, they still showed up again. So it always will start for a learner, for a teacher to know what my ladder of skills are. What is the starting point? What is the end point? And mind you, this clarity is a teacher's responsibility. A learner is not supposed to figure it out. Where am I stuck? Where am I headed? This is also a space that is going to be where a learner is going to learn to adapt, is going to learn to train, to show up again and again, at the same time knowing that I'm not alone in this space. This space is also doing something else for the learner where they're developing what we call psychological flexibility. What is psychological flexibility? Is about knowing that I am not on a straight path. My path is going to diverge. And that is where the ingredient of a learner asking, getting trained every day to ask first, what are we working on? What is my goal for today? What is the skill that we are going to be focusing on? So it is not only the teacher's responsibility to carry the learning targets, it is the learner getting trained to say, ask what are we working for? Also, we are programming the curiosity. We are programming seeking of saying, what is my starting point? Where am I beginning? What is it that we are going to be working on? What was my last best that I'm going to be working forward from? We are also building that agency of the learner in deciding, do I want to repeat my last best performance or do I want to beat it? So a mantra we often use in our settings is meet it or beat it. It's your decision. For each learner to know that it is not going to be a lone process for them. They will have someone by their side all the time. When they are becoming focused on their performances like that, it is also about forgetting what others are doing, forgetting what my neighbor student is doing, what my other peer is doing. They're becoming very sharply focused on their journeys, what lies ahead and where am I coming from. I am my own competition. My chart is my only reflection of where I am headed. That's for a learner to also know that every day is not going to be a best performance day. Some days just showing up is enough. I need to just appear here. I need to be my best, the best I can be, but I don't have to be thriving at that speed every day. And to our surprise, some days when they're not deliberately trying, they're just being, they end up beating their last best performance. And that's when firsthand they will experience what we say, stay true to the process. What everybody says, just show up, be in the moment, do your best. And that's when our learners get their experience of life in saying that when I stay committed, when I keep showing up with honesty, doing just my best, sometimes life surprises us. For our learners also to know that I need to keep trying, but there is a mentor, there is a teacher right next to me who knows it better than me, who will hold me, who will nudge me, who will create that alchemy where I will be able to thrive. When learners start accepting that support, without any resistance, when they start moving with the teacher, is when we start saying, this is happening. Learners are doing this day after day, month after month, year after year. When we start seeing that now this learner is taking on a life of their own. Now they are leading it from a place and saying, let me tell you how we can do it better. Sometimes they end up informing us because we work with learners with dyslexia, learners that bring a lot of creative intelligence with them. They also become equal partners with us in saying, I think if you teach it like this, I can reach mastery sooner than the way you've been doing. And that's when we say they become actually equal partners in these journeys with us. More importantly, our learners have surprised us, heartwarmed us when they become teachers to other learners. When they start volunteering for those spaces and saying, let me do it for them, let me do it with them. And that's when we know our resilient learners are ready to forge in the world. A resilient learner is going to be not a learner who's not going to fail, is not going to be a learner who's going to not struggle, is not going to be a learner who's not going to get stuck again. But a resilient learner is going to be a learner that knows whatever is in front of me is solvable. It is in my power to look for it. It is in my power to also seek guidance, ask for help. I do not have to do it by myself, but I need to build that community around me where we are helping each other. And that's where we say resilient learners can be made, resilient learners can be formed, and we need to come together to create those environments where people are not, no matter what age they are, left in unending self-doubt, left in thinking they have to do it on their own. No, we do not have to do it all by ourselves. We need to stay open to opportunities, learning, seeking, striving, no matter where we are. Thank you very much.